I just want to say to everyone making jokes about this, I think you need to stop. I'm sorry. I'm going to get like this, but you guys need to stop making jokes about this. This is a serious thing that I lived through, so maybe quit making jokes about this and actually listen to this story, maybe buy this book, and actually learn a thing or two. Howdy. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of A Guy from South Dakota. My name is Evan. I'm a guy from South Dakota. First of all, just want to say thank you guys so much for just blowing up last week's episode. Blew my mind. Seriously, my biggest episode by far. So if you guys want to keep on supporting me, I would be so thankful for that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Like this episode if you enjoyed this one. And if you didn't see last week's episode, go click on my icon. Go check it out. But thank you guys so much for returning. This episode is, it's kind of more on the serious side. I normally don't do things more on the serious side, but we have a very special guest coming in today. You guys might have seen online the 100 men versus one gorilla thing going on. You've seen the posts, you've seen the memes and everything like that, but now it's actually time to hear a true account of that story. So our very special guest coming in here today to actually talk about his experience and talk about his new book, Guerrilla Warfare. Guys, please welcome E.J. Henderson. Come on in, dude. Yeah, for real. He's just going to take over the show for the rest of the episode. So you guys just be nice to him, okay? This is his true story. I just want you guys to show a little bit of respect. This isn't funny. So please, one more time, give it up for E.J. Henderson. Come on, guys. Yeah, come on, take my seat, buddy. Yeah. Just put these on. Sure. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. I'm just going to be reading you something from my book, Guerrilla Warfare, a true story of how I survived 100 men versus one gorilla. I won't waste your time. Thank you again so much for letting me be here. I will just get things started. Sorry, I'm just nervous. I was one of 100 men thrown into a coliseum to fight a gorilla. Left with one choice. Fight. This is my true story. Then maybe if we could push in. Okay. I woke to the sound of heavy breathing. Not mine. Not just mine. But dozens of others, all trapped in the same waking nightmare. The cell was massive, like an underground aircraft hangar, with rusted bars stretching to the ceiling and grim stone walls that soaked in the hopelessness. 99 other men surrounded me. Some sat quietly with their heads in their hands. Others paced like caged animals. The air was stale, heavy with sweat, fear, and anticipation. We didn't speak much at first. What was there to say? Then, a loudspeaker cackled, deep and disorienting. Today, you meet a true warrior. All the heads turned at a point. The unbroken. Every man's breath grew more shallow. The undefeated. Sweat ran like rivers from each man's brow. The son of Harambe. Then every heart stopped beating. A name we had all heard before, but a son? No, it couldn't be. He was the gorilla of destiny, the chosen one. Finally, the loudspeaker let out the beast's name. Today, you meet Obasi. A crowd erupted and shook the whole building like an earthquake, rippling fear across the room. A few men muttered prayers. One threw up. But among the chaos, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Name's Wyatt, he said, offering a firm grip. South Texas, ranch kid. EJ, I barely muttered. South Dakota. Actor, mostly. He grinned. Well, damn. Guess we're both a long way from the stage, huh? We bonded quickly in that cell. He was solid. Maybe mid-30s, sun-weathered skin, lean but wiry. We talked about our lives, made dark jokes, and shared the little hope we had left. Wyatt said he'd never fought a gorilla before, but he'd wrangled a steer with his bare hands once. I laughed. It was probably the last real laugh I'd had that day. Possibly ever. When the iron doors groaned open, we were herded into the arena like cattle. The Coliseum was brutalist. Gray concrete stands stacked high, with shadows watching from behind one-way glass. Cameras whirred above us. It was clear. Someone, somewhere, wanted to see blood. And in the center stood a lone iron gate, and from behind it, a roar. Not just sound, but presence. The kind that grabs your rib cage and shakes you down to your marrow. Obasi, son of Harambe. The glade flew open, and he charged forward, massive, fur soaked in misted sweat and sunlight, eyes red with fury, or perhaps grief, maybe both. He stood nearly 7 feet tall, barrel-chested, arms like tree trunks. He pounded the earth with his fists, and the ground responded like a drum of war. Every man froze. Then, a group of 10 was pushed forward, or volunteered. I'll never know. Wyatt stepped to my side. Not yet, he said. Let's learn from the first wave. We watched them go. Brave, terrified souls. They circled Obasi like kids trying to contain a wildfire. One screamed and rushed forward. A fatal mistake. Obasi caught him mid-run and slammed him into the earth so hard we felt the impact through our feet. Another tried to leap onto his back. Obasi spun, grabbing him by the leg, and hurled him across the arena. A sickening crack. Then another. One man's jaw was torn clean off. 10 men entered. 2 crawled away. 8 dead. Over the next hour, we were forced forward, always 10 or fewer, always slaughtered. One man tried to run. Obasi caught him in 4 strides. The man didn't even scream when Obasi crushed his skull against the wall. Wyatt clenched his fists. We're going to have to go eventually, he muttered. And if we do, we don't go in like them. We go smart. We started to organize the others, whispering, planning. The guards didn't seem to care. They wanted a spectacle, not strategy. When we were called in, we went in as a team of 6. But now, it was our turn. The sand was sticky with blood. It clung to our feet and made every step feel like wading through history. Obasi stared at us, breathing slow. His chest rose and fell like thunderclouds. We surrounded him, low, moving together. Wyatt was first to strike. A feint to the left when I went right. Another man, Dom, tried to leap from behind. It worked, briefly. We swarmed. We landed punches, kicked his legs, grabbed his arms. It almost looked like it might work. Then Obasi exploded. He roared with primal rage and flung Dom like a doll. Wyatt shouted and tackled Obasi's leg, trying to trip him, and it worked for a heartbeat. I jumped onto Obasi's back, clinging to tufts of his hair. He spun and slammed me into the ground. My ribs cracked. The air knocked out of me. I couldn't breathe. Wyatt grabbed a rock and slammed it into Obasi's eye. Obasi shrieked. He turned, and with one swing, struck Wyatt across the temple. He dropped. Hard. No longer moving. I screamed. I charged. I bit, punched, clawed. I would have died there. But another group had rushed in, drawn by the chaos. 20 of them, maybe 30. They piled on, screaming, crying, ripping, pounding. We piled on top of the beast so high, I lost the daylight. Some bit their own brothers in the chaos. Others barely managed to move, but when the last punch was thrown, we all knew. It took all of us. Obasi fought like a demon. Broke arms, crushed chests, but he was bleeding now. Slower, surrounded. And finally, someone shoved a shard of broken bone into his throat. It was over. Of the 100, only 17 of us could stand. Another dozen writhing in pain. The rest were part of the blood-soaked earth beneath us. I crawled to Wyatt. He was still breathing, barely. His eyes cracked open. "Hey," I said, voice shaking. You made it." He coughed blood. A lot of it. "Told you, man. We went in smart." As he let out his last breath, he smiled. And then, he wasn't there anymore. We fought a god that day, and we won. But victory is a word made for generals and politicians. What we earned that day was survival, and the memory of a friend who made that survival possible. They said his name was Obasi, but we'll remember him as the fury of nature itself. And Wyatt, best damn man I ever knew. Thank you. Wow. Thank you all so much. I can't even begin to say thank you enough. My new book, Guerrilla Warfare, is now it's available now in stores everywhere, in every store in the world. It's actually already a #1 bestseller, now available in paperback. Some quotes here. Guerrilla warfare is the type of story you need to hear. That's from the president right there. And then the absolute best thing I've ever read in my entire life. That's no cap on God. That is a quote from your mom right there, if you can see that. I just want to say to everyone making jokes about this, I think you need to stop. I'm sorry. I'm going to get like this, but you guys need to stop making jokes about this. This is a serious thing that I lived through. So maybe quit making jokes about this and actually listen to this story. Maybe buy this book and actually learn a thing or two. That's me. That's my picture right there. You can see that. Yeah, that's me. I lived through this. Okay? Guerrilla warfare, available now everywhere. Thank you guys so much for the time. Be sure you subscribe to the Guy to South Dakota show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and buy Guerrilla Warfare everywhere. Evan, I'll give the show back to you. Thank you, everyone. Oh wow, guys! One more time for EJ Henderson. That was phenomenal. I know he got a little bit emotional there at the end, but wow, just I got to say this. It's really nice having guests on the show talking about their experiences. It means a lot to me. And no, I mean, bro, don't worry about it. Everything that she did was totally great. It was great. And like I said, the show's going to be uncut. You're going to see some real emotion on this show, some raw feeling and experiences that people have gone through. But in other news, thank you guys so much for subscribing to the show. It's been an honor to get all these new subscribers coming in. Guys, keep on subscribing. It's just been a great journey for us. And I love it so much. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the show, share it with a friend, comment down below which part of EJ's story really, really moved you and really, really got you there. Really got you off. Not like that. Sorry, bro. But thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We will see you next week. Later. I'm just a guy from South Dakota. South Dakota.